The United States and Israel began a joint attack on Iran.
Major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel.
The U.S. and Israel launched strikes on Iran Saturday morning after what the Israeli military said was months of close and joint planning. Israel said its strikes targeted Iran's supreme leader, president, and head of the armed forces. The joint statement said the United States was also planning attacks for several days. President Donald Trump described the U.S. military campaign as massive and ongoing, warned American lives may be lost, and called on Iranians to take over your government. He also accused Tehran of working to rebuild its nuclear program after massive U.S. strikes last summer he previously claimed had obliterated the facilities. Iran says its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. Iran responded to the attacks by launching an unprecedented wave of strikes toward Israel and U.S. targets across the Middle East. Explosions were reported in a number of countries, including the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar.
U.S.-Iran. Third round of talks end with no deal. Senior officials from the U.S. and Iran have ended the third round of talks, which covered issues including Tehran's nuclear program, without reaching an agreement. But the foreign minister of the mediator, Oman, says that significant progress has been made and that a meeting will be held next week. Despite repeated nuclear talks and ultimatums, Iran's position remains unchanged. All this suggests that Iran has a secret nuclear agenda. When examined, it is to use Iran's enriched uranium to build nuclear weapons and gain dominance in Central Asia. Another is Iran's extreme anti-Semitism, and Iran has used all its wealth to build nuclear plants in Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan to realize the dream of a nuclear weapon against Israel. So it is unlikely that they will support the deal, even if there is a war. And they need nuclear weapons to maintain an Islamic terror that no one questions. That is when the U.S. needs nuclear disarmament, as it is saying. The government is isolated internally due to the massacres of tens of thousands of protesters by the Iranian government. The outside world is not aware of the atrocities of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps because the internet and other means of communication are limited. If we understand correctly, there is no other time than now to stop Iran.
And the government has